Hello, Amina. Hello, everyone. Today, this sign is from Mama Creations. It was a custom one she did for me. Lindy would also make it. Lindy's Creations on Etsy. They both would make that for you if you would like it. We are using actually two. We're using two of the square wreath bases from the Dollar Tree. They're not the bigger ones, but the smaller ones. There is two of them. I'm not sure if they still make the bigger ones, but we're using the smaller ones. Okay. So we have the sign, the wreath bases. You're going to need some zip ties. We have, this is called check fabric mesh. It is 10.5 by 10 yards. Just because it is the 0.5, it won't matter. You won't be able to tell the difference. It'll be okay. So we have that. This one is a fabric metallic mesh. As you can see, there is a metallic string that goes across. And then we have our white fabric mesh that goes across this way. And then we have the deco that goes up and down like this. Okay, so that's what we're using. I have this rainbow ribbon here. This one I got from Craft Outlet. I really liked this ribbon, so I bought several of those for our Pride wreaths. And then I found some ribbon that would match the sign all right. And so I pulled those out. Maybe we'll use them, maybe we won't. We have the ribbon, the red ribbon. We'll put that to the side. We have our blue ribbon, and these are all from Sam's. These ones are all from Sam's, and I should have opened it before I brought it over. But as you can tell, it matches the sign perfectly. Then we have the purple. This one is from this year, along with the blue one. The red and the yellow came from last year. This is the purple. Okay. And then I have the yellow. All right. So we're going to put the ribbon aside. We do have our cable mats on the back. If you do not know how to do those, please see the other video. They are very, very easy to do. And I suggest you using clips. As you can tell, I ran out of clips for one, and so it slid down almost to where I would need to redo it. It's very hard to take them off, so please be careful when you're doing that. Okay, so let's put the sign to the side as well. All right, so first what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take these tags off. We do not want the tags on our wreath. All right. So the reason why we have two is because this frame isn't a very sturdy one, especially in the corners. As you can tell, it moves very easily and they break easily. So after making quite a few of the square ones, I have actually decided to double them up. You could also like flip it and see which way it sits best. See, sometimes they don't sit exactly, but that's okay. No one's going to see the frame unless they flip it over. I think I'll probably go up with this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our zip ties and zip tie the two frames together so that it is stronger. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to find where the brackets are. The brackets go up and down. The rungs go side to side. Okay? So zip tie. Put it under both. Put it across the X for the bracket. And then pull tight. Make sure it's good and tight on there. And then put another one on this bracket. And we're going to go to the brackets all the way around. And then we'll cut the top part of the zip tie off. And yes, if you do have one from Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, they will not have to be doubled. It's just the ones from Dollar Tree. Honestly, I've not used those ones before, so I'm pretty sure they won't have to be doubled. They're usually made with a better quality. You could also use a Unique in the Creek square board. I know that they make them. I don't know if they are in stock. They are also an option. But you would probably have to watch a video on them in order to do it, because I am not sure how to use their boards quite yet. Okay. You can use any size of zip tie you would like for this. These are just the ones that I have. So this is what it looks like. Let's make sure that it's pretty secure. It ain't going anywhere. I think I might put some on the corners just so that it doesn't lift up like that. But usually they don't stay there anyways. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. Usually they just slide right off, and so it is harder to use a, see, they slide like that because there is no bracket holding it there. That is also another reason why we are zip tying, is because once you put your pipe cleaners on to make this wreath, they might move a little bit. And so when you put the zip tie on, it might keep it more steady than what it usually is. Okay, that's good. So instead of using the square as a square, we're going to be using it as a diamond. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to get my sign so I could show you what I mean. We're going to be having it sit like this. I like the diamond look better than the square look. I have done squares and diamonds, but I still like the diamond better. Usually I do the diamond for police wreaths, but I think this will turn out very well. And we're going to use lots of different ribbon, so I think that will also turn out well. Okay, so that's how it's going to sit. That way you know what you're making. So next we're going to take our pipe cleaners. These are my extra ones, and then I'll use those ones as needed. I am skipping a step. I need to get a marker. This is up to you whether you want to mark your hand or not. This is just something that I like to do. You need to mark 4 inches if you're going to do it this way. It is just easier when you have a frame to just do it with your hands. So for this one, we are going to start right here at the corner because I want the entire corner to be covered. And so this one is going to sit right here. Okay, so as you can see, I am starting at the first, second, third. So we're doing the second and third brackets, okay, or the rungs. We're going to go to the corner there, and it's going to come a little bit like right here, okay? Make sure the knot is up here, not down there, okay? This one's going to be a tad bit different than our circle ones. There we go. Just twist twice and put it in the middle. All right. Now let's measure. And remember, it doesn't have to be exact. We might even have to move it around a little bit so everything is covered and it looks okay. There we go. So now that we put these two here, I'm going to put one right here in the middle at the bracket. I think I'm going to put it on this side of the bracket. All right. So this time, instead of putting the knot down here, we're going to be putting it up here. That is where you want to twist. is right there. You see where the X is connecting? Twist twice, pull it down. Okay? Let's do it again. So we have here and then about there. So we want about here for our one on the corner. The corners are a little tricky. So if you've never made a wreath before, I suggest working on a different video first. Here we go. A lot of people use the bubble method or the poof method on this. You can do whatever you wish. I just really like the cruffle. And I swear we will do other methods, probably with one of the other Pride wreaths. But this one I really want to do the cruffle because of the way that the ribbon will be sitting. Yeah, that'll be okay. Alright. And if you are new here, please subscribe. We will be putting out videos twice a week. I also have a Facebook page. I do have an Instagram, but I don't like Instagram as much as Facebook. I think I am going to start a TikTok, though. Even if it does get banned. And we are all hot glue free. There is no hot glue in any of my wreaths. Sometimes the attachments will need to be taken apart and then put back together with E6000. Just so that it does not fall apart and my word stays true. I have done that a few times and I'm probably going to have to do it with the attachment for the other one. Okay. There we go. That is done. Alright, so let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Woo, we were close. 23. Alright. So let's put that to the side for now. Put these down here so they're not in the way. Oh, my zip ties. Okay. So next, I am using black and white just because I want the colors to pop. I have done quite a few Pride wreaths before, and honestly, it's probably best to use neutral colors such as black and white because it makes the colors pop more. You can use different colors if you wish, but sometimes the amount of different colors that are in them just kind of fade into it, and that's not what you want. Okay, we're going to need one extra. Now, usually I can get about 12 pieces out of each of these. Sometimes they're slightly shorter. Sometimes they're slightly longer. So let's see what happens when we get to the end. Okay, so let's get started. Let's do black first. And we are going to scoop these up a little bit. We don't need them right now. The difference between fabric mesh and check fabric mesh is the type of fabric that they put in here and the way that they weave it. You could tell by just feeling it, it's rougher than just the ordinary fabric mesh. And so it is harder on your hands. It feels like a twine almost in there. So that is the difference. It's not a big difference. You can't really tell by just looking at it very well. unless you've been around mesh all the time, you can't really tell. So if all you can find is just fabric mesh, that's okay too. You won't be able to tell. I have ones that go up and down. These ones go up and down, and these are the ones that get loose. If you understand how the mesh is made, you're more likely to have it less fray, because then you can cut the way you need to. And you could tell the difference between, say, Hobby Lobby mesh and Craft Outlet, the Wreath Shop, Trendy Tree, those kinds of places. It is just a better quality. I have used both, but I still prefer Craft Outlet. Craft Outlet is actually, I wish I had an affiliate link with them, but apparently they don't do that. The Wreath Shop does. So I might end up doing that. But usually their prices are a little bit higher than Craft Outlet. And I really do not like their search engine. It doesn't tell you when things are out of stock until you already go into it and click on it. And so when you go to click on it and you're thinking, oh, it's in stock, you know, I'm going to get this one. And it's not in stock and you wouldn't know it until you clicked on it. And so that pisses me off a little bit. So I don't usually order from them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm sorry, I did not tell you what the measurements were. We are going from 1 to 28. And please cut in between the fabric going this way. If you can't, that's okay. If you've never done the folded cruffle like I do, that's okay. I have done them in previous videos, and it will make it so that it does not fray. No, you do not have to wood burn this. Can you? Yes. I don't prefer it just because this whole edge here is going to be hidden and you won't be able to tell. It is very rare that it will fray on the inside and you'll be able to see it. Every once in a while it'll get hooked on something, especially as we go to craft shows and whatnot. On the outside rim here, see how this one's kind of loose there? And then I'll have to pull it off later. But usually you can't even see this inside part, and that's where it frays. It doesn't fray here. It frays here, as you can see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like we'll have plenty. I'm a little worried about it, but I think we'll have plenty. There we go. And that is how much we have left. Maybe a little bit more than one more of those cruffles. So it is worth keeping. Sometimes you'll run out of black, and if you need to replace this one for one of the fabric meshes, they wouldn't be able to tell as long as there's no shiny or anything in it. Let's do the white. Oh no, it's attached. Yes, they will attach to themselves and to each other. It's just how it works. That's why I call them the fish hooks. That's also why I'm using this. It doesn't really attach very well to mine because it is a cotton blend. Not all cotton blends are the same, but this one works. And yes, it is dirty. It's my crafting sweater. So a lot of them are stains. I also have some E6000 stuck on here. Cut this. Alright, so we're doing the same thing. We're going to pull it out, measure it to 28 inches, and then cut it. I presume that you know to cut in between So you have the lines here, you have this line and this line. So you'd want to cut in between. But it doesn't matter really because we were going to be folding it up and cruffling it. So no one will be able to see the end anyways. It just helps prevent the fraying. Makes it easier on yourself later. This mesh is very versatile. It bends easy. It goes back to its original place. As long as it wasn't pulled too tight, it should go back eventually. If you stack this, say if we made this wreath and you stacked another one on top of it, as long as you don't leave it for months on end like that, it'll go back to the original spot. Okay? Poly burlap does not do that. I learned that one the hard way. I do a lot of craft shows, and so in order to transfer them, I have these giant totes, and in order to transfer them, I put them on top of each other, and I learned very hard ways that poly burlap mesh does not go back to its original spot. So if you do use something with poly burlap and you need to transport it, don't put anything on top of it. You can put stuff underneath it, and if you're going to do petals, then make sure that the petals are not at an awkward angle because they'll stay that way. Deco mesh is a lot like this one. It is very versatile, but it is very see-through. So if you're going to be using the deco mesh, then you need to use probably more of it, and probably one of the different methods, not like a poof. A poof or a bubble, you'd be able to see right through it unless you double it up. Just regular burlap, that is very versatile as well. It is very weather resistant, and you could spray it with Rust-Oleum just like all of these. It is more of a fabric, and so it will go back to its original space that you put it at. So you can put stuff on top of it. I still wouldn't do it for extended periods, but like just traveling from one place to the other is fine. It does fray though, and you can't wood burn it so that it doesn't fray. And so you have to be careful on the way that you use regular burlap. Regular burlap goes good with the pull-through method. That looks very pretty. You could also do the bubble or the poof method with that. And yes, my table's a mess because I don't want it to look perfect, because no one is perfect. And people get these unexpected expectations from other YouTubers who think it's going to look perfect and the process is going to look all nice and perfect. It's not. It is a messy job. I find mesh stuck in my clothing, like little pieces like this stuck into my clothing, even ones that have been washed. It should be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. One more. So however you want to do your stuff is perfectly fine. It is your craft, not anyone else's. You could do it however you please. And yes, if you go over a little bit on these, that's okay. If you go a little bit under, that's okay too. But I wouldn't go like more than 5 inches under, or else they're going to look weird and not as thick. If you get something like that, just pull it off. It's fine. All right. Stay. That is what our mountain of mesh looks like. And we'll get our clips. Remember to close your scissors and lock them if you have those types of scissors. These are the scissors that I like to use. They're Friskers. I got them from Walmart. and they just glide right across instead of having to fight with the other ones. The other scissors like this I use for ribbon. Okay, these clips are from the Dollar Tree. I did buy a few more just so that I had enough. Then some of them are pretty stiff too, so they'll hold real good. Others I've had for a while, and so you can see a little pink is missing. Okay, so we'll grab our first roll. This is the white one. So what we're going to do is we're going to unroll it a little bit. We're doing curl side up. See how it curls? That's curl side up. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to find the corners. Corner 1, corner 2. Fold it over, just like that. Fold this side over, and then fold this over. It should look like this. Next, you're going to roll it down enough so it keeps the curl. Then you're going to use your clip and clip it there. Flip it around and do the same thing on this side. Fold over the corner, fold over the corner, fold over the flap, and then curl. Why do we do it this way? Because it tucks the corners and the end in so that it does not fray and the fraying stays inside. I have done this without the folding, and you could still see it slowly unravel inside of the curl, and it bothers me. Sometimes I can't cut it off and because it's so far in, and so it really does bother me. And I know I'm a perfectionist, but it just holds up the curls better. So that is what that's about. All right, so now that we have our 2 curls, okay, you're going to pinch with your finger and thumb for both hands. Okay, these fingers are out. Okay, these are the working fingers. You're going to put your fingers out as far as you can go without hurting yourself and pull it towards you. It should be the same length as the curl. You see that? Unless you have really, really long fingers. There you go. See that? And bring it towards you. You do not have to climb it up. It makes it so that it is uneven when you do that. Usually with me, it does. You can climb up like the other Wreath YouTubers do, but this is what I do. And this is what it would look like after. Okay? We are going to put our pipe cleaner right here in the middle and twist it. That is how this is getting onto the wreath. So let's do another. There we go. Get our clip. Let's show you what the curl looks on the inside here. So you can see that it's folded and that it ain't going anywhere. I just did the curl enough so that the curl goes all the way around at least once. Okay, you don't need to do a whole bunch. Oh, you see that? You see this? That is where a piece of the silver got caught up and got snagged in the machine. So what you're going to do is just pull it up like that. Do you see that? So that there's no more bump on the inside there. Cut it off. Just leave like just tiny bit there so it doesn't go back in. All right. Fold it over. Just like that. Fold this over. Oh. See that? Okay. Fold the top over, the flap, and then roll over. Oh, we don't need another clip. All right. So, fingers pull towards you. You pinch with the pointer and the thumb. always aim the middle in between your two fingers towards the middle that way. That way you know where you're going and it'll be around the middle every time. The holes for me. Oh, what am I doing? I think I might need some more caffeine today. I do not drink coffee. I do drink tea though. And some of the teas are very strong. The one that I'm into right now is matcha. I really like Japanese culture. If you haven't gotten the hint from my name. I need to get like a laundry basket or something and set it next to me and put all these in there. There we go. And you can use any clips you would like. You can use bag clips, clothespins, clothesline pins, you know. Literally anything that just holds it together. Okay? This one will be more rough than this one, just because the check mesh is harder and it feels like a twine. And so it does hurt your fingers a little bit more and your skin a little bit more than what that one would. If you have sensitive skin and it's hard for you to use the mesh, I suggest you not using the regular deco mesh. I also suggest you don't use the check mesh. Anything with twine in it, those are all going to be harsher. The burlap just eats away the moisture in your hands. It's ridiculous. The ones that I would suggest would probably be poly burlap mesh and the fabric mesh. And you can get the fabric mesh with glitter and tinsel going through it. It doesn't have to be dull. The poly burlap now also comes with 2 different colors. I've worked with it. I actually have a wreath sitting waiting for me to make a center, but I still haven't figured out what kind of center I want it in. So it's just been sitting there. It is actually a flower petal one. Okay. Corners, flap, roll. Put your clip on. Roll, roll, roll. Okay. And then bring it towards you. Do not climb it upwards like everyone else suggests. You can if you want to, but this action makes it easier on you and it looks nicer. At least that's what I think. But that is my opinion, so I am just here to show you how I do it. And then you can decide what you would like to do. My method is a mixture between other people's methods, and then I just kind of meshed it to create my own. The YouTube channels that I have watched is Monkey's Creations, Julie's Wreath Boutique, This Southern Girl Can, which she does other things as well, Cat's Creations, trying to think what else. Hardworking Mom is also another one. Any of those are also very good YouTube channels. I am just trying to start my business, and this is the best way to do it. and start rolling. I know it's a little tedious, but most wreath bases are. If you like the tediousness and just the repetitiveness, then you're at the right place. Any method, it's all going to be repetitive, especially just putting the mesh on. Once you start putting the ribbon on, though, it won't be tedious and it won't be repetitive unless you want it to be. Looks like we have another fray. Just pull that off. Once we get the wreath done, you will see that there's almost 0 frays. It's just sometimes the ends get a little loose, and since we are folding it this way, we won't get any frays. Looks like I also want you to keep in mind that you can repurpose your wreaths. You could take a sign off and put a different sign on it, or you could take all the mesh off. If the mesh is gross, like it fell in the mud or something, you could take all the mesh off and reuse the wreath base, okay? It does not have to be all brand new things. If you found a wreath at, like, say, a yard sale and they wanted $1 for it, go ahead and grab it. The worst part would be if you could only use the wreath base, okay? If the wreath base is broken, see if you can use some of the stuff that's on top of it, okay? I have several wreaths that I've had for several years, and I was like, nope, I'm done. I don't want this anymore. No one's taking it. No one wanted it. So I took it apart and made something new with it. Did I use the same things? Yeah. But I made it in a different way so it looked more appealing to them. So let's go ahead and start making our wreath base. Put our scissors over there for now. We don't need them right now. Alright, so it doesn't matter really where you start. I'm going to roll up my sleeves a little bit. It doesn't really matter what color you start with either. Because we are going to alternate, so it doesn't really matter. So if we look at this one, you can see that this curl is actually a little bit off, and we're just going to move it up a little bit. There we go. I know, I'm weird. No one else will be able to tell, except for the person that has made it, or people like you and me who do this all the time. So I prefer to start in the middle, just because it is harder to put the stuff in the middle when you've already done the stuff on the outside. You could also go around this, like, June, and that's probably what I'll probably do, but I always do the middle first. It's just easier that way. So what you're going to do is open your pipe cleaner, just like that. Okay? Put your mesh in there. Pull your pipe cleaners up. Make an X, just like that. Okay? Pull down, twist, 1, 2. That's it. That's all you need. There we go. Okay? Now let's get a white. And we want the curl side up. You can do the curl side down, and so it'll look like this. I don't really like that look, but if you do, go ahead and do that. You can use the same exact method that we are doing. You just put the curl side down, okay? You are only limited to your own imagination. Okay, put it inside the pipe cleaner. X, pull, twist twice. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! And now we're going to do that all the way around. Actually, I need a white one there. Let's put some of these black ones over here. So we're going to alternate. So I want black, white, black, white. And so when I say alternate, I mean alternate for that rung. Okay, so it's not black, white, black, white. You don't want the inside to be black and the outside to be white. If that is what you want, then go ahead and do it that way. That's not what we're going for here. So when you do this, it should be black, white, black, white. And at the bottom, I changed it so the first one is white and the next one will be black. That way that they are off center of each other. Feel free to adjust your mesh as you go so that it looks like it's more in the center, but it does not have to be exact. You'll be able to tell once you pull them up like this if they're really off, okay? Now we're going to find this one, open it up. Make sure you just kind of push this one a little bit that way so that you can put this one in. X, pull. Pull tight. Okay, you want all of this to go down. Twist twice. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Now we're going to do our black. So far, it is looking good. And as long as you follow the way that it is supposed to go, you will still see the diamond or the square, whichever way that you are using it. Because it'll go straight and then there'll be a corner. It'll be a rounded corner, okay? But it will still be a corner. And so it will not look like a circle. And if you mess up and you put the wrong color in it, it's okay. Just untwist it and move it to the spot that you want it to be and then put the right color in. It'll be fine. Just make sure that you pinch it here. That way it doesn't come apart. You can put it back together if you accidentally let it go. That's not a big deal. Just instead of following the ridges that are already created in the mesh, go ahead and create new ones. If they coincide with the other ones, great. If they don't, that's okay too. It's not going to be a big thing. Open up your pipe cleaner. Pull. Make an X and pull. Twist twice. Poof it out. Okay. I'm just determining where to put it because of the colors that we already have out. So they're black here, so this one's going to be white, which means this one will be black. So this black one is going to be here, and we skipped one. So we're going to go ahead and cut our last piece, which is going to be white. And then we're going to fold pruffle it and put it directly on here. That is what it's going to be looking like. Let's go ahead and cut our last piece here. Where is our scissors? Let's see how much is left. No, that's too much. If there isn't a lot left, then just go ahead and put it in there. That way you don't have to worry. You don't have to deal with a tiny little piece at the end. And it is a little hard when it becomes down to the very small part of the roll because it'll just keep rolling up on you. Okay. Couldn't pass it up. So that is what our frame looks like. Let's get our sign so you can see what that looks like. So it'll be sitting like this. You can also put it to like here to the side or to that side, or you can do the square if you wish. I honestly like it with the diamond. And yes, it is going to be very poofy, but I love poofy. This is how I like that. So, we're going to continue to do that. I only use wired ribbon. If you do have to use a non-wired ribbon, go ahead and get yourself some fabric stiffener and roll this out, lay it flat and spray, or you could put it on your wreath, have it sit flat, and then spray it with the fabric stiffener. And it will keep it somewhat in the same way, but you will need to really spray it. I've done that before, and it sucked. We have the yellow. I always like to keep plenty of solids in my stock, just so that I don't have to buy individualized ribbon for every wreath. That becomes very expensive. And I have found that if I keep solid colors like this, or like the plain tan, the plaids, then it'll become cheaper if I get them from with the 50 or 100 yards. This is the purple. So if you're willing and you have enough money, I would suggest getting the 50 yards just because it will keep longer. You will have it longer, and if you get many different kinds of solids with the 50 yards, it will last you longer. Now this red came from Christmas time. As you can tell, there's a little snowflake and an ornament. See how it's different? This one's spring, this one is Christmas. They only release the ribbon twice a year. Once in spring, once in Christmas. And when I say spring, I mean like the end of February, beginning of March. Okay? And the Christmas one is somewhere in the middle of, let's see, October to the middle of November. And so if you're planning on getting Sam's Club ribbon for Christmas to use in your wreath for Christmas, to sell for Christmas, I suggest you get them the year before and then do it, because you won't have them when you need them. Okay? But this is my favorite red ribbon from Sam's Club because it is shiny. Okay, it is thin, it has the wire. I just like the color. It's just the perfect. This one in the yellow are probably my favorites from Sam's Club. This one I get whenever they have it out, along with the yellow. So I found the rainbow lights. I'll open them up and show them to you. This is what they look like. Let's see. So what we need to do is, it's going to be a little bit different than the other lights that I use, just because I want to see the rainbows. The other ones, I just want the light to shine through, and so we can see the color. Okay. So this one, it just slides right off. Other ones you will have to get a screwdriver and unscrew it. I know the ones from the Dollar Tree, which are perfectly fine to use, by the way, you will have to unscrew them. Okay. And yes, I have one from the Dollar Tree because I ran out of the Amazon ones. I only had 3 left, and I was going to put one in this one. So go ahead and push this back on. Go. And then let's turn it on. Wow, look at that. I like it. Let's see. Timer. Oh, this one has a timer. Cool. Alright. And do that. And open this one. Slide this down. I honestly thought it only had 2 that we needed. So give me a second here. And yes, my squeaky chair. All right. Okay. Let's just put the rest of these in here. All right. And yes, I do mix batteries. I know people tell you not to, but I've never seen any adverse effects to that, so you can always change the batteries if you ever buy one from me. It's up to you. It is cheaper to get the Amazon ones instead of getting the Dollar Tree ones in bulk, especially around Christmas time because I do a lot of those. I am putting it all right. Why are we having issues? There we go. All right, let's make sure that this works. Good, good. All right. So let's put these over there for now. They will be going on last. Okay, and let's put our clips away. Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, we are going to line up our sign. And see where the sign meets the frame. Okay, so the corner is here, and so it should be going up like this. Okay, so this will be where the sign comes down, and I'm just bending the pipe cleaners down so I know where the sign is meeting the frame. That is all I am doing. There we go. And then it should be up in this corner. So it should be this one. And then the white one next to it. Okay. All right, now we know where that is going to be. For these 2 corners, I think we should do 2 of the loose bows. And then we're going to have the colors rain down this way, I think. And I think I am going to cut some solids and like alternate the ones that I put on there. That would be pretty. Yeah. All right. So this one is going to be coming across here. And then the solids are going to come out like this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting these. Let's put our wreath base down. I'm going to put it down there for now. Let's get these going. So we have 4 colors. Okay. We have 23. So let's do 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So we'll have 2 that are, we'll have 2 extra to do. So we'll do 5 of each color, and then we'll see where we're at. How is that? So we're going to take our scissors that we use for ribbon. These are the ones that I do, and they are Friskers. They're a little bit heavier. We are going to cut at 12 inches. So 22 to be here. 12 inches, okay? That way we can see the colors underneath the other ribbon. I should be flipping this over so that the curl side is down. That way it'll make it easier. That's 3. 5. Alright, so those are for putting underneath this, okay, the rainbow ribbon. Alright, so next I am going to cut the longer pieces for each bow. So we have 4 or 5 ribbon for that. So let's do go ahead and do 1 of each color. So this one we are going to be cutting at, let's see, that comes up here. This goes here. Okay, so we're going to be cutting these ones at 30 inches. This is going to be a very easy bow that everyone can do, so don't worry. And then just take the ends, find it so that they are matching. There we go. And then just bend it down like that. Okay. Some people ask me, why didn't I just do it when I had it out? It's because I wanted to make sure that you knew that they were for 2 different purposes. There we go. 1 more. And then we'll be done with the purple. 30. Doesn't have to be exact. We are going to cut a little bit of the tails off when we make them. Okay. There we go. Now the purple's done. Down there. Do this light bright blue. We're cutting these all to 30. Okay, this should all be the same size. So you have your 12 inches here and then your 30 inches here. Right. Now we're done with the blue. Let's do the red. That way we don't have so much on our table. It'll be much easier. There we go. 1. And then 1 more. And then we are done with this red ribbon. At least the roll. Go. This one I am going to take one of my little pins that are sitting on here and put it in there. You should probably be doing with all of them, but I ran out of pins. So, alright, so make sure that you have your magnet. This is my magnet, just to catch all the little pieces of wire that get cut when you cut the ends of your ribbon. Okay, that is all that is for. So we're going to take all of our 12 inches and we're going to fold them over. Just like so. And then we're going to fold it again in half like a hot dog. Cut it up like this to make a triangle. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put this in its own little pile. We're going to stack all the yellows on top of each other. Fold it over. Triangle. Done. So we will have 2 extra pieces we will need to cut. I just wasn't sure what colors we will need to put there, so I have not cut them. So we will see when we get to that point. Well, I put this one inside out. I did. Hold it that way. You can see the seam on the inside. So please make sure the purdy side is up. Now that we have all of the 12 inches done, there we go. Look at all of these. Please be careful when you do this. There is little pieces of wire that is going to poke you. So please be careful when you do that. And then get your magnet here. Find any that you missed. Sometimes they're itty bitty. Okay. Next. Oh, we also need to cut this one. And then we can do the bows. So this one's going to be the same, except we're going to do 4. Let's start with 1, and then if we have extra, we'll do another. I'm worried if we have enough or not. There. So we'll do 1 for each bow for now. And we'll make the bows last. Okay. All right. There we go. So now that all of these are done, let's just put these together just so that they're out of the way. We will come back to these when we are done putting all the rest of the ribbon on. All right, there. Okay, so let's start by just picking a random color. We are going to alternate. So let's start with red. And we're going to put it right here at the corner. Put it in between your pipe cleaner. Pull them up. Make an X and twist. Twist twice. That is enough. You could also open it and put it with the mesh, but that is up to you. Okay, and then we're going to, I think I'm going to use the yellow next. And put this one right here at this black one. And yes, I'm going to try to keep them bent. That way I know where it is. And then we'll put this blue one next to it. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is what our corner is going to look like. And then we'll be putting this ribbon on top of it. Okay, so don't worry about that right now. Let's go ahead and put all these 12 inches in, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we have our red. That ribbon is fraying a little bit, so I'm going to go back in and cut that a little bit. That will bother me. Okay, and then we have the blue and the purple. So the purple down below and the blue up top. I'm just bending this, by the way. I'm just grabbing the middle. So you have the edge, you grab the middle, and then you have the other edge. I should have showed you that before. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to need, oh, how do we end up with missing 3? That's kind of odd. Oh, because it's 23. Okay. So we're going to need a purple here. We could do either purple or red. I'm leaning towards purple. And then we'll need a red here. No. Red. Oh, that's how we messed up. That is how we messed up. She should be blue, purple, red. So this one needs to be yellow. This one's supposed to be purple. Okay. There we go. All right. So this one needs to be yellow. And then it goes blue. And then purple. I don't want purple and purple. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to move this one again, and we're going to put it on the bottom, and we'll put red up here. That way this red is not next to this red. Okay, so we're going to do yellow, blue, and red. Okay, so let's cut those. Blue, red, yellow. Well, I got it mostly right. Okay, remember we are cutting these at 12 inches. I like to cut extras and hope that it is the right color. I've done that in the past, and then I saved them hoping that I can use them in something else, and then they slowly fray or they get lost or whatever. So I would just prefer just to do it this way, and if I need more, I can always cut more, but we usually get pretty close to what we need. And this one, we're just doing the dovetails just like we did before. That's all we're doing. There we go. We're going to pick up these pieces, throw them in the trash. Get our wreath form. Okay. So we're going to put the yellow one here. We'll put the blue one here. And I'm just grabbing the end here, pushing it towards the middle, and then pushing the other end towards it. That's it. It's just creating a little thing there. Open your pipe cleaner. Twist it. There we go. Let's do the red. Go. All right. Now that we have all of these on here, let's find where they are vented down, which should be these. Yes. So what will probably happen is that each corner I'm going to put a bow here. So we're going to bend these down as well so we know where we're going. And you'll see why here in a second. Okay. So we're going to take our rainbow ribbon here. We're going to open up this, actually, let's start on this side. This one on the right side, because we're going to be going right. Put your ribbon in and leave a little bit of a tail so that it comes out with these ones. And yes, you'll be able to see it. It'll come out from underneath the sign. Just like that. Okay, let's go back and cut it. Let's dovetail it. As you can see, it's still attached to the spool of ribbon, and that is exactly what we want. Please leave it on there until we cut it off. Okay? Okay. So we're going to take this one and we're going to run it towards this one. We're going to open up the next one. There we go. And we're going to leave it a little bit of space there and then crunch it like we did earlier. Put it into here. There we go. Make sure you leave enough room that you could freely move the mesh around if you need to. Okay. And then we're going to move this. So this one, we're going to stop here. Put it in. So we unraveled the pipe cleaner. Now we put the ribbon in, and we're going to cut it to the length that we would like it to be. And then it's going to come in between the two red. And we're going to cut our dovetail just like that, so that it looks like this. Okay, you see it starting to come together. Okay, now let's go back to this corner here. Open up the corner one on the bottom, on the first rung. Do the same thing we did up top there. Give it a little bit of a tail. Put your pipe cleaners up, pull them down, twist twice. This is going to be sitting in between them. Cut your dovetail. Open that one. Put this one in. Make sure you have plenty of room. Okay. So this one I am going to want to put a tail on. You could go on without putting a tail. I do want a tail though. Open this one back up. Put this back in. So we're going to have two tails in each of the corners. There we go. On the outer corners is what I should say. Look at all this wire that's getting caught up right there. Okay, there we go. Let's keep going. Oh no, I should have done it all the way over here. Well, I messed up because I was thinking about something else, but that's okay. We're going to take this off, and since the top one is shorter, we're just going to go ahead and put that one there, and we'll put a longer one down there. I know like other wreathers edit out where they mess up, and that's okay. I would prefer not to, just so that you can see that it is trial and error. That is how I got to learn everything that I did. My grandmother does the florals. She doesn't do mesh, and so all of this was brand new to me. And so I did have to trial and error a lot to see what needed to be done here. Okay. Put this one in here. And then this one is where it should end. We might have to cut off a little bit, maybe not. We'll see once we put this in here. Oh, looks like we are good. That's good. Okay. Now let's do the bottom. Since we are going to the right, you're going to want your spool on the right. If you're going this way and do the left, then go ahead and put the spool on the left, okay? And I know this one has a lot of ribbon in it. We might even have to open up another spool. I wasn't planning on that, but I know that one of the other signs that I have won't use as much as this ribbon as this one does. So it'll all work out for me. The way that I determine the prices for my wreaths are whatever it cost me and then times 2. Technically, you're supposed to be doing times 3, but I just feel like in this economy, I won't be able to sell it. So that one was the last one here. So let's go ahead and cut that. Don't forget to dovetail it. There we go. And don't worry, we won't be able to see the pipe cleaners when we're done. Alright, let's go back here and finish the top. There we go. Okay. One more. We are done pulling this ribbon through here. Make sure your pretty side is up. Remember, you only have to twist it twice. Pull the mesh up if it's falling down into the middle a little bit. It'll be fixed later once we do what we're going to do with the pipe cleaners. Don't worry about that. Try not to put your weight of your arms on top of the mesh. It will push it down a little bit. Eventually it would go back up as long as it doesn't stay on there. Okay? Last one. Let's see. Put this one up. There we go. This one's already undone. we go. Looks like we didn't need another roll after all. Oh, this one's fraying. So the only bad thing about this ribbon is that it is a cheaper ribbon. So sometimes the mesh frays it. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's see. We have this much ribbon left. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over. Like this. And since we're doing 2 bows, I'm going to cut it in half. And we'll make just 1 loop and just not have the tails. For these 2. So I'm going to put these 2 to the side so we know which ones are which. So I wanted to do 2 in there anyways. But there we go. All right. Just so you know what it's going to look like, this is going to go down here, and this is going to sit in like this. And so it looks like all of these are coming out this way. Okay, we can even put them over these. I think that looks better. Yeah. And then we're going to have bow. Okay, and then we're going to have lights. Okay. All right. It'll work. So I am back, and I got some great news. We're going to the Pride Festival in Denver. So this specific wreath will be going to the Pride Festival, along with the other 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this, and then in my next videos, you'll be able to see the other 3, or the other 2 signs. We'll also be making some paracord bracelets with Pride charms. So let's get this done. So let's get our wire, and we have our ribbons. Let's start making our bows. We're going to need a couple of zip ties. And like I said before, it does not matter what zip ties you have for this. It just doesn't. They could be small, they could be big, it doesn't matter. I have used both. I wouldn't use like the ginormous ones, but anything other than that should be just fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make our bows. So we're going to take 1 of each of these colors. I want this one to be in the middle, so we're going to pack the ribbon around it. Not the red, we already did red. Just like that. And then we're going to, there you go. So this one is also going to be going into the middle, which I probably should have put on there first. But this one will have 0 tails, like you won't be able to see it. The other ones you will. And this bow is probably one of the easiest ones you could do. Remember, these ones were all 30 inches and they're just cut pieces. So you want to line them up so that the top bent over parts are together. Okay, don't worry about the tails right now. Just line them up as best as you can. Okay, and then measure about 6 inches. And so all I'm going to do is pinch from the middle to the side, and then from the outside to the middle. So then we're going to get our zip tie and we're going to put it around where our mark was, where you're bending it right there. There we go. Make sure it's tight. You don't want them to come out because you will be arranging them. Don't worry about the stepping upstairs. My son is off of school today because they had the PSATs yesterday, so that the older kids are having theirs today. Okay. All right, so next we're going to do is you're going to find which ones you would like to go on the outside, which would be all these 4 colors here. Okay, and yes, you could put more in here if you wish, or you can do just 1 color, that's fine too. I would recommend not going more than like 9 loops. I think 9 loops would be either too much or right at the cusp of it, so I would stick with that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your fingers in, you're going to separate your fingers and turn it. Pull it down, it ain't going anywhere. Look, I'm pulling real hard, it's not going anywhere. All we're doing is poofing the bow. And they're not going to be big bows, it's just going to be just a little bow to go on the side. Sometimes you'll have to separate where the ribbon connects here because they are tucked into each other. All you do is just pull and just twist it a little bit. Just like that. This one will need to be separated a little bit. There we go. I know it looks a little funky right now, but just wait. So now you're going to take it and you're going to push here so it poofs out to make this teardrop. Okay? You want the teardrop look. For this bow at least. Just make sure that they're kind of spread out so they're kind of even. There we go. Ta-da. All right, so before we do the tails, let's go ahead and put our wire on. This is 22 gauge wire. It is from Michaels. This giant spool, which I've used quite a bit off of, is only $3. And it comes in the green, the floral green, and then the silver. I do recommend the 22 because anything smaller has snapped on me before. Cut off a decent amount. If you want to know the exact size, it is 17 inches, but that's probably a little bit too big. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it around here, okay, and just put it all the way around. And then you're going to make your X just like you've done before, and then twist. Just like that. So this part is going to attach onto the wreath. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the tails next. Okay, and then we will put them on the wreath. Now I do not want my tails too long, so we're going to trim it to where we would like it to be. So first you're going to do is take the top. Okay, so it should be whatever your outer one is, and pull it up. Now the pretty side should be up. This next one, the pretty side should be down. So you're going to take it and you're going to turn it like this. Now the pretty side should be up. And just put it to the opposite direction of this one. Okay? Same with this one. Pretty side up. This one is going to be pretty side down. So make sure you twist it. It's just like a half of a turn. And then put it so that they're not next to each other. Okay? The next one should be pretty side up. Once we're done, this wire is going to come down this way. Okay. Feel free to bring these colors around this way. That's also fine. And then we could put these colors out this way. So now I want you to flip it over to the ones on this side. And let's do pretty side up this way. Make sure you turn it so that this one is pretty side up. And we're going to put it all the way over here. Okay. And then let's do the red. Pretty side up. Turn this one so that's pretty side up. We're only doing half of a turn, and it's easier to tell when you have a printed ribbon. Okay, and then let's put this one right here. Ta-da. All right, now that we have our tails out, we're going to just lay it onto the wreath to decide on how long we want our tails. Let's put all these over here. So the sign is going to be going about here. So this bow is going to go about here. And then we'll have the other one over there. So let's put it, and you could always move the tails around after you put it on. I'm just going to move it a little bit because I want to see how long I want them to be. So for this one, I think I am going to leave them a little bit longer. Not too long though. So I'm probably going to cut off at least 2 inches because so when this goes on, it's going to be down like that. And so I'm going to want it to be at least about here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is what it looks like at the bottom. These are the little one, the little bow, or the little petal that we did. That no one's going to be able to see that. Just fold it down. No one's going to see it. It's fine. You can cut off the excess if you want, but don't cut too close because the zip tie is holding it in there. So it needs places to grab. Do you get what I'm saying? All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take it, fold it over, and then cut down to where you want it to be and do your dovetail. It's that simple. If you need to, you can go ahead and match it up. That way you know where you want it to go. It is your personal preference on how long the tails are, what they look like compared to your wreath, etc., etc. So there is no one size that you can cut it. Go. Just keep going all the way around. There. And yes, I do use a lot of ribbon. And the reason why is because it is usually more cost efficient to get several different colors of ribbon, especially the solid, to have on hand than buy individualized things for each wreath. Okay. Now before we put this bow on, we're going to go ahead and put our pipe cleaners through. This is a step that you can skip and you can cut the pipe cleaners off. I choose not to because I like the way that it looks. So let me show you what I do. And so you see the little white pipe cleaners here. You're going to find where the mesh ends. So you see my thumb there? It's underneath the wire frame. And you put it through and then find the other side and put it through. There's the opening. I'll show you the back. And I might as well just put the sign on. Okay. Let's go ahead and take that off before it falls. Okay, so if you can see, we have our two pipe cleaners right here. You might have to push the bunch up a little bit, see how it moves. So what is it going to do? It is going to make the bunch pop up a little bit, and it is going to secure it more than what it would be if you were just to cut it off. On top of that, you could tuck this back in, and then you have no pipe cleaners poking through the front or the back. You can't even tell that it is there. All you see is just this one line here and then the zip ties. So it looks all nice and clean, and everyone can see how you put it together, and they will truly believe that it is hot glue free. Okay, so we have that one, and then we're going to do this one. Put it through and around at least one rung. I'm going to do that one, and then we're going to do this corner one as well. Because they're going to be covered by the bow. Okay. So we're going to pull. You make your X and twist. That is all it is. Now, if you have excess like this, I was going to cut it off at the end, but you could always cut it off right then and then just push it in. Now, if you have a large amount of excess at the end, you can go ahead and keep that piece, and then we can use it to put our lights on later. Because this one will be getting rainbow lights. Okay, there we go. Now we have this corner done. So first, let's go ahead and fix these. So since the bow is going to be going there, let's go ahead and point these this way. And we'll be pointing these this way. There we go. And it looks like I forgot to cut this. So let's go ahead and cut that while it's still there. Okay. All right. Well, let's get our bow. It'll look better once we put it on there and we poof it. Okay, so don't panic. So what you're going to do, because this one is only a three-rung wreath frame, is that we need to put it around too. So we're not going to put it on the outside. We're going to put it on the inside rung and the middle rung. So that's the second and the third rung. Do not put it through your mesh. Find where the mesh ends and then put it through. If you need to, you can put it where your pipe cleaner goes through, but do not put it through your mesh. It will fray your mesh. It'll tear it up. It is not worth it. Please put it in between the mesh. All right, So now that that's there, make sure that it is at the height that you want it to be at, okay? So that means that it's not too far pushed in. That's why I like to use this type of bow when you are doing a cruffle, because if I did a regular bow, you wouldn't be able to see the middle and it would just kind of like fold in on itself. These ones don't do that because they're higher and there's more length in the bow. So we're going to go ahead and put that through. And we're just going to flip this over. There's our wire. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to make an X and we're going to twist. That's all it is. We're just going to twist. There we go. Okay, so you have about ½ inch worth of just twisted wire. Go ahead and cut that off. If you do need to move it, you will have to put new wire on. Wire is a one-time use thing. You can't just undo it, and it won't hold the structure of the wire as much as you would like it to be. And yes, we will poof this later. We're going to have to turn it. There's no point of poofing it right now because we have to put the sign on and the other bow. So we will poof it after, okay? So while we are here, so why don't we put all of our pipe cleaners back through so that way we don't have to worry about it. So remember, you want to go around at least one rung. You don't have to go more than one, okay? Okay. All right, now that we have them all pointed towards the back. So what we're going to do is put them all through and tie them, and then we'll move on, okay? So make sure it goes through at least one rung. If it hasn't, then go ahead and just like duck it underneath. That, there we go. And tie. And like I said before, you can skip this step if you would like. There's that one. Where is the other one? It is hiding. There it is. And then I'll cut them off all at the end. Sometimes they just kind of pull back through. Usually I just leave it flipped over and don't flip it to the back to do it. I just leave my other hand behind it and then twist it. But you guys can't see it that way. So we're just going to do it this way. So go ahead and just make sure you pull on it. Make sure you make an X and just twist. Okay. There you go. And if it's short enough, go ahead and just tuck it back in. If it's not, then we'll cut it off at the end. Oh, all right. Looks like that we have caught back up. So let's go ahead and cut the ones that are longer off. So you're going to want to leave at least the knotted part there. So let's cut off these little tips there. And then just push it back in. Let's go back around. This one's pretty short. Let's go ahead and push that in. Push that in, preferably into the middle. These ones are a little bit longer, so go ahead and cut those ones off. Please make sure that these go directly into the trash bin. They will poke into your foot or your hand and it will hurt. Go ahead and put that. This one's okay. Go. Make sure you push them in. That one doesn't want to stay that way, so we're going to push it this way instead. Remember, work with the product. Only fight against it if you absolutely have to. It'll work out better for you. Okay. Now that all of those are done, let's go ahead and make the next bow. And yes, everything is kind of flat right now. That's okay. We're going to poof it out when we are done. And then it's going to look marvelous. Okay. Looks like all of our ribbon has attached to the bottom of the wreath. Where is the yellow one? And it fell. There we go. And yes, I have a very squeaky chair. Okay. So let's go ahead and start the middle. Remember, you're going to want the bended ends together. Like that. I'm putting the rainbow ones in the middle. Doesn't really matter what order you put it in. You could always move it to where you like it later, as long as the middle ones are in the middle. Okay. Now that we have them all lined up, let's go ahead and measure again. There, so we're at 6 inches. Make sure you pull it tight, and then you put it in the back of the pipe cleaner where it's flat. Pipe cleaner, zip tie where it is flat. Okay, it does not matter where this little knot sits. It's up to you. Okay, looks like we're good. Cut off the end of this zip tie. Put our wire on. Make sure you have your magnet with you so that you can get all the little pieces of wire from the ribbon. Put it around the middle. Line up the wire so they're about even. Make your X. Twist it. You want it tight and at least 1/2 inch long. If it does get bunched up like this, that's okay. Just undo it. There we go. There we we go. All right, so now that we have our bow, let's go ahead and put the petals out. Remember to pull down away from this here. You could also twist it to get it away from it. It ain't going anywhere. Put your 2 fingers in, pull down, twist it, spread the fingers, okay? You want to make it so that it is away from the next part of the ribbon. See how the red is kind of going inside of the blue? Pull them away as much as you can. They ain't going anywhere. If your zip tie is tight, it ain't going anywhere, okay? That is why we use zip ties instead of wire. Because yes, it would have been much simpler just to put the wire on here and not the zip tie. But I've tried that before. And I have poofed a bow and then I have pulled a piece all the way out. That was fun. It was at a craft show and I could not fix it at the time. So that was interesting. All right. There we go. And you can put the middle however you'd like. You'd like to go this way, that's fine too. It is up to you. It is your bow. Make sure to push the ends a little bit so it looks like a teardrop. Okay. So next, remember we have our tails. One is the pretty side up. The first one will always be the pretty side up. Even if you're coming from this side or that side, it'll always be the pretty side up. The one that is next would be the pretty side down, so you need to twist it. Okay? Pretty side up. You might have to like maneuver it a little bit because it is stuck right here where the zip tie is. So you need to get it unfolded in there. Twist it and pull it up. Just like that. There we go. Pretty side up. Twist it. Remember, these ones you're not going to be able to see. Okay, just fold them up if it bothers you. Make sure you twist them so that your pretty side is up. And then the last two, let's put this purple one over here. We'll move this blue one over here, just so that they're away from each other. And then, if you need something to hold on to, you can hold on to the middle where the zip tie is. That will help. Well, our 2 purples are right next to each other, and we don't want that. Let's move that one over there. All right, so once we put it on the wreath, it'll be easier to move them where you want it to be. All right, so next, what we're going to do, there. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to cut them just like the other ones. Start on any tail. It's up to you which tail you would like to start on. I'm cutting off at least 1 inch, if not a little bit more. And just go ahead and dovetail it as you are there. There's no point in making 2 cuts unless you would like to make 2 cuts. No one is going to measure the length of your ribbon. Okay? You do not have to have as deep of a V as I do. That is also a style choice that you can do. Now we have the purple, the blue, and the yellow. And then we are done. And I promise if you don't like the look of it right now, it'll look better once we poof it and put everything on it. Okay, we can't really, like, you could poof it now if you wanted to, but it'll just be wasting your time. Because once you flip it over to put the sign on or the bow on, you're going to have to poof it again because everything is going to push down on it. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and put this one on. This one is going directly across from that one, so it's going right here. Make sure you go to the side in between your ribbon or your mesh, not through the mesh. You will make it fray. Don't put it through your mesh, please. I only had to make that mistake once. If you look where your wire is, you could see where the wire is pulling on where the woven mesh is. And it just pushes it further apart, which in turn pushes all these little strands up this way. It's like trying to push out the inside from the push out the outside from the inside. All right. Make sure you push your X, twist, just like we did before. Put a good amount on there and then cut it off. Make sure this wire goes directly into the trash can. You do not want this in your foot. I speak from personal experience. Okay. Next, let's put our sign on. All we have is our sign and then our lights, and then we are done. Oh, we do have to put our wreath hook on there. Okay. So I'm just going to cut off a bit. You don't need a whole bunch. I always cut off more than what I usually need because that's just my preference. And I would rather have too much than too little. Okay, there we go. So next, you're going to take your wire and put it through the hole on the sides. Do you see that? It went through the hole. Line up the wires. Make your X and twist. You don't have to twist a lot, just like twice, maybe 3 times. Okay? It does not have to be a lot. And then pull it to the side so it's out of your way. Do the next one. There we go. X, twist. And yes, I'm grabbing from inside like this, and then I twist. And I always twist right to tighten it, which is weird. No, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Yeah. So twist right to tighten. Make your X. Put it in the middle. There we go. Put it in the middle and twist. It is all so easy and simple, and there's no holes, so you do not see the holes. The holes bother me. It doesn't bother other people, so if you don't want to use the cable mounts, then go ahead and put holes. You can get a hole punch, a metal hole punch to put through these, or you can even order them with the holes. I don't like the look of the holes, so I do not use it that way. Okie dokie. Now, let's put our sign on. So these will need to go around 2 rungs. And let me reiterate this. Don't go through the mesh. Thank you. Okay. So this one is going to be going in between this white and the black. Right here. And you're going to put it through the middle rung and then through the bottom rung. So it's around 2. And then just twist it a little bit on the back. And then once we get all of the wire on, we will tighten it. Okay? You want it to be loose in this first step so that you can move it around and get it to where you want it to be. We're going to put this one on the other side in between this black and this white. Make sure it goes into the middle rung. Use your fingers to judge. And then put it on the inside rung, which is the 3rd rung. And just twist the back without flipping it over. That way it is in the spot where you want it to be. Then you're going to take this one, and this one is sitting right on top of the mesh. So what we're going to do is you're going to spread them. Okay, put one on this side where you put the pipe cleaner right here. And then find the opening for this side right here. And then just exit and twist it. Remember, we don't want to do it tight right now. We will do it tight when we get them all on. Okay. It's probably going to be the same thing for this one. Oh, no. This one is going in between this white one and the next white one. Okay. One needs to go on the inside, one needs to go on the outside, into the middle. And all right. There we go. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it should look like around the corners, because that is where it will be sitting. Okay, so I'm going to tighten the top part up first, just because I want it to see where it's at. See, look at all of that extra space that I've given myself. Okay, make sure that the mesh is not going to be holding it back. We could always tuck it back in later. Okay? All right. So we're going to pull it. So you're just going to take the wire and you're going to twist your hand so it's back, pinch, and push one way and one the other way. so that it makes an X. Do you see that? You don't have to undo all this. You can if you want to. This is just what I do because I like to make it more simple for me and easier for me. You might also have to retighten it more once we get the rest of them tightened. So you just pull, twist, okay? And then just grab the middle and twist. We'll do the same thing over here. Don't worry about the ribbon. We'll fix that here in a minute. Okay. Pull, twist, and exit. Twist, 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 twist. There we go. This one I didn't tighten, but that's okay. It didn't go anywhere. Make sure you go around the 2 rungs. 1, 2. You want at least a good 1/2 inch on this wire just to make sure that you have it on there. Okay. I'm undoing the top, but doing more on the bottom. Okay. All right. Let's make sure we're good down here. Looks like I need to tighten this one a bit more. You could always pull it and then tighten it more. See the loop? That's what I'm creating here. It's because it needed to be tightened more. And that's okay. It'll just climb up the loop. And we'll just cut off the excess. Do not cut off the excess until you are completely certain that you are ready for it to be. There we go. All right, now we're going to look at the top part and make sure it is sitting exactly where we want it to be. Kind of just pull the mesh through a little bit. We can always tuck the top part back through, just like that, because we want to be able to see the sign. If you did do it a little bit too tight, which I think we might have done, that's okay. We can loosen it. So this side is a little bit too tight here, the one that I tightened. So what you're going to do is you're just going to twist it the opposite way. And hopefully it will loosen up for you. Make sure you aim your fingers down towards the bottom, and so it'll loosen. See how much that loosened up there for me? Let's see if that is enough. That's good. This one needs to be loosened a little bit. It is this one. Just so that it doesn't look like that it's concaved into the wreath, okay? There we go. You might have to tighten the top back up a little bit because it might have came back up a little bit, but there we go. And then just pull up a little bit. There we go. All right, next we're going to go around the whole thing and poof it. Okay, so what you are looking for is that you need to make sure that the sign is visible. If it is not, you need to tuck some of this mesh back under, but only do it about halfway, like so. Okay? You want the mesh to be slightly shorter by the sign. The next thing that you're looking for is I want these corners covered just a little bit by this looped mesh or loop ribbon. And then you want these to come out like this. I forgot to cut this, so we're going to do that there too. If you see anything that needs to be cut, go ahead and do it now. This, what I call this is something like a final look. It'll make it easier to put your lights in later if you poof it now. Just because you want these specific lights, you want to see the rainbow that are on them. And so they're going to be sitting on top instead of underneath. So you have two different kinds of lights. You have ones that will shine through the mesh, which is the ones that are not fairy lights. And they have, it looks like one of those Christmas bulbs, but it's still a battery pack. Okay, those ones can sit underneath and in between the mesh. It does not matter if you can't see the top of it. Okay, these ones, however, have a rainbow on top, and so they need to be shown. And so we want them to be on the top instead of on the bottom or in the actual mesh. It is important to identify which one you have. That way you can take advantage of what it looks like. Okay. And just keep going around. See all the little pieces that are coming up like that? Move them around to where they need to go. Make sure all the ribbon is visible. Little things down here. Looks like we forgot another one, but that's okay. That is what the poofing session is for. Looks like I'm gonna have to fix a little bit of that mesh over there. So this, we're gonna want some of this mesh to go underneath right there so we can see the sign better. Okay, we'll fix that here in a minute. This, you want it to go over the corner like that. Here's this yellow. This goes to the bow. Here's this yellow. Goes this way. It's already starting to look better. Oh. There we go. Let's twist this. Okay, and yes, the hardest part of making bows or wreaths are the poofing. Once you know how to make the bow and once you know how to make the wreath, the hardest part is deciding what colors and the poofing. Because it is just your imagination. All right, so we need to determine what is part of the bow and what is part of the original ribbon design. So we don't have any tails over here. So we're going to pull this red one this way, this one here, this yellow one over here. There we go. Okay. Make sure you do your tails first. That way you know where you want your tails, and then you could determine whether you need to cut it down more or not. Purple and the yellow. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to do the loops. Put this one here. I'm going to move this one so it's this way. There we go. Let's see. So this one is actually part of the bow. So let's put this one and move it all the way over there. There we go. Put this one here. All right. Make sure you get that teardrop look. Don't be afraid to like pull on it a little bit. It ain't going anywhere. We zip tied it. And the wire is strong. Okay. Now you can visibly see the sign. Okay. All right. Now let's cut our wire and let's put our lights on. So what you're going to need for this, and yes, we're putting it on, but do not push on it. It will stay just fine. Okay. So we have 2 sets of these lights here. I don't know if we'll use both. We probably will, considering the size and because we want them to be shown. So what you're going to need is some pipe cleaners. Mine have fell to the ground. So you're going to need 4. So 2 for each box. Okay. Now, before you put this on, I want you to put it on the bottom part of your wreath. Okay. And make sure that the switch is on the outside. If you put it in like this, okay, you're not going to be able to switch it on and off. You want the switch on the outside, okay? Make sure the cord is going the direction that you want the lights to go. And it will sit right in here. Okay, so this is the bottom. So what we're going to do, you're going to take your pipe cleaners. And you're going to run under the middle and through the 3rd rung, like that. Okay? I am going to cut off this wire though. It is in my way. And then just bend it over, just like the pipe cleaners. Cut this one off. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to put it under and through. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this and have it sit right here. Since this one is a little bit bigger, it doesn't sit in there as well as I would like it to be. I've never used these wreaths before, but try to get it to sit as best as you can. And then you're going to take the pipe cleaner. You're going to line it up, make your X, and twist. Make it a good long twist, and then you're going to leave some room and take off about that much. The reason why we leave some room is because eventually they are going to want to switch out the batteries. And they're going to need to be able to put it back on. So there we go. And then this one is going to be going that way. So let's go ahead and do that. put it underneath those two rungs, the second and the third. And then do it again for this one. Make sure you do not go through your mesh. You could push it down a little bit so that it doesn't go into your mesh. There we go. Make sure that it sits nice. If it doesn't, you could always move it to a spot that it does. It sits nice there. So I think I'm going to move it there. If it doesn't sit nice, it's not going to stay. Okay? That is the reason why you need to make sure. Especially with this one, because it is 3 batteries instead of 2. And so it doesn't fit in there properly. The Dollar Tree ones do. They sit very nicely. And also the Christmas ones you get from Walmart sit nicely because they're only a 2 battery. These ones were special and I wanted to try them. There we go. I cut those ones a little short, but we'll just have to make do. Okay. And I put it on the wrong way. See the switch? So we're going to have to turn it around. So undo it, and I'm pushing down. Now let's do the light test. And look at that. Then we have the light test over there. Look at this. Alright, so let's just leave these sets on while we put it on. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your little pieces of pipe cleaners that we just cut off. We're going to need some down in this corner here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bend it down like this. And you're going to find where the pipe cleaner comes through. Okay? And you're going to put the rainbow into this. Now, when you do this, make sure that you put it about equal. There we go. If you need a couple to go on the back because you can't, like, there's not enough room in between each, that's okay. Okay, as long as they can see a few of them, we'll be good. I probably did, just gonna get tucked right there. And yes, we are leaving the lights on because I want to see where they were previously. Let's go ahead and pull that up that way. And so usually I map it out and see where I want to put them. And honestly, I probably should have gone this way with it. Okay, so we're going to go like this instead. And then make our way back up this way. So I think I am going to move some of these back because we have excess. So this one is going to cover all this all the way up to here. And this one is going to cover all the way up to here. So since we're going to have a bit extra, we're going to move it just a little bit so that this piece goes here. This one goes here. That is why we map it out first, because if we'd have attached this first, then we would have had to undo it all and then moved it all. So I would prefer to just map it out first. And then put this one here. Move this one over here. And then this one over here. Don't pull too hard on the fairy lights, just because from my personal experience, sometimes the decoration piece will pop off, but usually that is from the dollar store. So I'm not quite sure about these ones, but we will see. All right, now that we've cut back up with the strand, okay. Oh no, this one broke. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so this one broke right there. So we have a choice on whether to try and fix it, or we can just cut it off. I really don't have any like electrical experience. I might be able to just like, let's see if what happens if I wrap this around here. Yeah, that isn't lighting back up. So we're just going to cut it off, and hopefully we'll be good. Okay. So that's sad, but we'll be okay. All right, there we go. Now that these are all mapped out, I want you to take your pipe cleaner, put it under the little wire, under the wire, and then put it around the rung. I want this one to be shown right here, so I'm just going to move my fingers through and just kind of pull it to where I want it to be. There we go. Put it under the rung and under the wire to make like a V, and then exit and twist it. That's all there is to it. It'll keep it in place, and then just push the end of the pipe cleaner into the wreath. Don't worry, you will not see it on the other side. There's another reason why I like the cruffle, is because I can build up from the back as well, and you won't be able to see it because it is too poofy. There we go. And let's see. Make sure you get wherever you're putting a rainbow in, and put it on one on each side so that it does not move. Okay? And yes, I still have the lights on. That is because I want to see where exactly the lights are. And sometimes the fairy lights have really thin wire. And sometimes it's even the same color as the wire that I use. And so it is easier to tell where it is. Okay? All right. You could turn it off once you get the other one, but I usually leave them on just so that I know where that one stopped, and so I can make up for it with the other pack. Make sure you go around the wire and the rung. That way they are attached to the wreath. It doesn't matter if it's above or below. Just go ahead and make sure it is on the rung of the wreath and in with the wire. I'm going to use a longer one for this one because it's a little bit of a tricky spot here. There we go. And I just use my finger and put it down there, and when I feel it, I'll know that it's all the way through, especially when you're using white pipe cleaners and white mesh. That way you can tell where it's at. Let's see. Try not to pull it up too much because you want it to be able to be seen on the other side. Okay, and yep, I already attached that there. And so I just need to attach this here. And then the middle one. And then we are done with this set of lights. Okay, let's go ahead and attach this one. That one is too small. This one's probably too small. If you do not have extra pipe cleaners, go ahead and just, you can use the wire that we were using, or if your pipe cleaners are just long, go ahead and cut it. It's okay. All right? If I run out, I will cut pipe cleaners as well. All right. And all of these light up. Good, good. Let's untangle them a little bit. So this time I'm going to start on this side and work my way that way. Just because this one ended up being shorter, and so I'm going to start this way. I'm going to put this one here. So I'll be able to see that one, but not this one. Make sure you map it out that way. That way you know where they sit. Just kind of make sure that they'll be able to see them from the outside on the other side. They won't be able to see it very much with the sign here in the middle. So take that to your advantage. Put the shorter ones, the shorter pieces over there. So you can do that. There we go. I want this one in the corner to be able to be seen. This one in the middle. And I'll put this one here. Put this one here. So the lights will be able to be seen if you don't have the rainbow. With the ordinary ones, pretty well, unless you have a really thick mesh, such as like burlap. Burlap you won't be able to see very well. We'll be able to adjust it also on the other side. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for the Pride Festival. Like, I hope it boosts my business enough that I don't have to work anymore and I could do this full time. Maybe I'll even end up doing only certain festivals every year and certain craft shows every year, and then the rest of the year would be just prepping and stuff. I think that would be so awesome. Okay. Let's get some more. Looks like we're running out of pipe cleaners. So we're going to have to cut some. So this one I'm actually going to go against 2 because they're kind of crossing each other. And so I'm just going to push those down. Make sure I have them both and then just twist. Part of crafting is knowing that you can adapt to the situation and trying to figure out another solution for whatever mistake it is, and make sure that you cover up anything that you don't want to be found. So keep that one in mind. I'm going to move this one just a little bit that way. Oh, I didn't go around it. On. There we go. So let's see what we can do here. Just pull them out just a little bit if we need to, but don't pull hard, as we can already tell that a couple of them have broken. So let's just, and you're going to have to repoof the bows a little bit, but at least they're in the spot that they needed to be. We are basically done with this. Let's just kind of fix a few things. You can already see some of the rainbows. Let's see if we can pull this one through. No, is it this one? Probably would have been better if I didn't do the cruffle, but you know, live and learn, right? And since it is battery packed, we do not have to worry about electricity in our booth. I like it so that when people go to their front door, they can see, and they could just turn it on at night. There we go. You see that rainbow right there? Doesn't that look pretty? You won't be able to see all of them, but I think it was worth it. The lights always go good with customers. They really like that it lights up. It does something new. A lot of wreathers do not light them up. So let's fix this bow a little bit, repoof it a bit. There we go. There's this one. This one's hiding under the ribbon. There we go. All right. Last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our wreath hook. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and run it through the middle rung and out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Put it through. Use your finger to understand where it is. And just kind of push it the direction it needs to go. And then you're going to pull it up and twist it around the long one. That is all we are doing there. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Put it through the middle and then bring it up. And we are putting it on the corner because we're making this a diamond. Roll it around a few times. Make sure there's no, the pointy end is going to be facing down. There we go. And we are done. We are done with this wreath. And yes, this will be mainly a wreath YouTube channel. I do other things, but I really like to make wreaths. So that is what it looks like. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will do my best to look at the comments. Please look at the links down below. I will have my Facebook page and my Shopify on. This one is not going on my Shopify. This one is going to the Pride Festival in Denver. Now, if someone did reach out to me and ask for this one specifically, I would sell it and then make another one. Probably not exactly the same. I'll probably make it a little different. So keep that in mind. And after we are done with all of this, I usually do a video so it can go up on Facebook, and I spray it with Rust-Oleum Clear so that helps it repel the water, and it helps repel the sun rays that will affect the colors eventually. Okay, so stay tuned, look through the videos, see if there's something else you want to learn. Have a good night. Bye.